Now these units here that we'll cut 2.5 by 9 1/4, I'm just going to put a paper clip on them to hold them together. And then we also need to take our long strip here that we cut in the very beginning, and we're going to cut this up into 2.5 by 2 9 1/4 inch strips here. So I'm going to even up my edge. And I'm going to go 9 1/4. And here. There's 1. And 2. I'm also going to put a paper clip on each one of these to hold them in place. And these rectangular pieces will be used for the border. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks here that you will cut each time. You should have when you layer your fabrics together. These will go into bag 2 cut. Okay, so that was demonstrating cutting with the light fabrics, and you will repeat the same process with your dark fabrics. Now what we're going to do is a quick demo of how to cut out your foundation papers. And they are on the newspaper sheets included in your pattern. And on page 1 of your pattern, it always tells you the number of sheets of foundation papers included in your pattern. And there's this numbering on each sheet. This one says NP 114. And on the first page of your pattern, it'll always tell you the number of sheets of paper that are included in the pattern. So NP 114, there's 8 pages, so be sure to count, make sure there's 8 pages. If for some reason a page is missing, just call or email Judy Niemeyer's website and they will send you another page. Don't worry about that. But we counted today and we had 8 pages. I am going to demo the cutting technique on just 2 pages today, just for ease here. I use the flat flower head pins when I'm cutting out these papers. You could also use a stapler to staple in these sections, as I will show you. When you lay your sheets out, we're going to lay them out one on top of the other, so you would lay all 8 sheets one on top of the other. The sheets have a number in each corner, like 3, 1, there's 3, there's 4, and this would be 2 over here, but it's not printed. So when you lay your sheets on top of one on top of each other, make sure that you have just the NP 114s in this illustration, 8 of them, and make sure, like here, the number 3 corner, all number 3s are stacked one on top of each other. So every page is exactly the same, stacked on top of each other. Now what I'm going to do is take my flat flower head pins, and I'm just going to find a corner here, and I'm going to put the pin through the corner. The purpose of doing this is to make sure we have the papers precisely stacked one on top of each other. So to start with, I put a pin in each corner of the papers, and I'll find the corner here and go through. And then I'll come over to this edge over here and do the same thing. You would be doing this to all 8 papers stacked one on top of each other. And this is a very quick and easy way of cutting out your foundation papers rather than page by page. So after I've got all 4 corners, just kind of shake them, make sure they're nice and aligned. And now I'm going to put a pin in each of the sections to be cut out here. Make sure it's nice and stacked one on top of each other. Now these are fairly large units here, so I'm actually going to put 2 pins on each one, because we don't want any shifting or moving when we're cutting. And there's a middle one here, so I'm going to put one here and one there. Doesn't matter how you place them. If you want to go side to side or the other edge to top to bottom or side to side, doesn't matter. But on smaller sections of paper, it would only be necessary to put one pin. So you would have all 8 of these done. So now you have all 8, I have 2. Now we're going to take our rotary cutter and we're going to start cutting them apart. I like to cut my long edges first. And we cut about 1/8 of an inch to 1/16 of an inch outside of the dark exterior line right here. So you just start cutting and trim away the excess paper. About 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch. And I'm going to go down my sides. Look at these 2 edges here. Again, about 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch. And after you would do this, you would take your papers and put them in the appropriate bags. So
is this true for all Judy's patterns?
As far as I know, Lorraine. So once you're completed with cutting the papers and the fabric, each bag would contain the fabric and papers necessary to complete that unit. So you could pick up a bag and work on it without scrambling around and looking for the papers or the fabric to do that bag. It's very, very well organized. So what we're going to do here is we're going to finish this off.
So it makes her patterns conducive to doing sew, put put away. When you have time, sew.
Yeah,
that kind of mentality.
When you put away, if that's what you're doing, make sure you put it back in the bags. I've seen people not do that and then try to pick it up and they're a little bit lost. So now what I'm going to do is just remove the pins and stack my units that I've cut out one on top of each other. And when we're done, we are going to clip them together. You can clip them together either with a paper clip or if you've got a lot of papers, you could use a clamp. So I'm just going to use a paper clip today, just to paper clip these together. So again, that they're not all scattered throughout the bag. And these would go into bag 1. It tells me in my directions. And this is bag 1. So I've got my lights and my dark fabrics in here, and now my papers. Everything is in this bag to complete this unit, and that's what we're going to demo next.